Christian here. I want to talk side hustle. I want to talk, can we objectively know, is one side hustle better than the other? And if so, if that's a thing, why wouldn't we ask questions before we go spend a lot of time and energy hustling? Check out where I am. There's my backdrop. I'm gonna go for a walk, find some shells, do my thing. Let me turn on. Here's what's behind me. This is South Kihei. Here's South Kihei Road. And here's where we're going today. So let's walk and talk. It's math, right? It's math. This is not that hard. Or is it? What a lot of the home business companies would have you believe is that this is an emotion, it's necessarily an emotional thing. Like, oh, I need to be able to get excited about something. Excitement's nice. That's nice. Is it necessary? And is it really what you, is it even worth being on the radar when it comes to factors for decision along these lines? So let's back up a second. Let's back up. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you looking for a side hustle? My guess is cash flow. Not to make money. I'm pretty sure you're not looking just to make money. Think about this with me. You want cash flow. You want to establish consistent, stable, monthly cash flow, right? That's why you're looking. If I'm right, absolutely. This is measurable. You can do the math. You can analyze business models and make your decision based on a number of factors. Logistics, possible headaches, possible loose ends, capital requirements. There's all kinds of factors. Those are some of the ones that come to my mind. Having owned many different kinds of businesses over the years, I'm well acquainted with headaches and hassle. And I think the hassle factor, you got to bring that in to a conversation like this as well, right? What's the hassle factor? How much is it going to cost me? Time, energy, ongoing headache, ongoing babysitting. You don't want that stuff, right? So are we on the same page that whatever you take on must be simple? And anything that isn't simple comes with headaches, right? Generally speaking. Okay, so let's get down to cash flow. Let's get back to the main thing here. You need monthly cash flow, right? There's some really good shells. Okay, so cash flow. We're gonna find a shell and we're gonna talk about cash flow. Yep, here's two. Oh, that's a broken one. It's another broken one. It was a beautiful shell. Now it's a beautiful piece of a shell. Here's a whole one though. It's a little jagged. It's cool though. I'm gonna keep that one. Cash flow. So what a lot of people miss with cash flow, with business models, almost all of the home business models I see available right now, last year, 10 years ago, this is just how it is. Almost every single one of these business models is prone to short-term cash flow. What I mean by that is it's not residual, it's not passive in nature. It very much requires constant, ongoing exertion, mental, physical, emotional, and otherwise. That's just how it is. So how can you tell the difference between a business model? Look at the crab. See that guy? He's in a nice shell. I like the shell he's got there. So how can you tell the difference between a sustainable long-term monthly cash flow model and something else, the opposite of that, something that where you got to trade your time for money and then you got to keep making the trade? A little side note, I don't mean to imply that if the business model, the business that you're pursuing requires never-ending babysitting and attention and engagement, that it's a bad business. Might be. I don't know. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm trying to point out something that's observable here. Some businesses models are built where, most actually are built where you just can never stop working. Some, very few, very few that I've ever seen are geared completely the opposite. You can actually build an asset. And this is where I think there's a lot of value in statistics. There's a lot of value in observing what's real, what's provable, what's documented. If you're in a gambling mood, then go with an unproven company, an unproven, like a startup basically. Startups are somebody else's experiments. See the crab? Startups are somebody else's experiment, and if you're okay crossing your fingers with your cash flow, with your business, with your time, and gambling, again, I'm not judging you, it's no problem, go do what you want to do. But just understand, eyes wide open, this is what I'm doing. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping for the best, and we'll see what happens. So you invest time and you hope to win, but you can still study these business models, and it's pretty obvious if you know what to look for, whether you've got a model that's conducive to passive ongoing income. Here's a crab, or not. There's his claw. I'll stop messing with him. So here's an easy way to do this. Just think about your own consumption habits. Just think about you, the consumer, for a minute, okay? Think about the sorts of things that you buy on a regular basis. If the business that you're considering, or maybe that you're already kind of tangled up in, is offering something either brand new, unknown to most consumers, or it's offering a known, maybe an improved, what's really common in home business is, oh, we got the best, fill in the blank, but ours is the best. If that comes along with relatively high prices, not as decided by you or me, but as decided by consumers in general, unemotional, uneducated, regular consumers. If regular consumers look at the price point and the price point it hurts, then your recurring opportunity is probably gone. There's a nice shell, but it's got a snail in it. Makes sense, right? So I'll give you an example, a specific example. There's a lot of home businesses out there right now that offer toothpaste as one of their products. On the face of it, that sounds good. I mean, it sounds boring, right? But when you're thinking in this mode of residual passive income, did you buy toothpaste recently? Are you going to buy it again and again and again and again for the rest of your life, as long as you're breathing? Right? You see where I'm going with that? You're going to buy it for the rest of your life, right? So what if you found a home business company that had toothpaste, here's a shell, that you really liked, and let's pretend it's $12. It's actually a pretty common price point for home business toothpaste. I'm being serious. If you don't know, they're like, this is a real thing. This is a cowrie, by the way. It's a nice cowrie. It's kind of small, but it's nice. Keeping it. So this $12 toothpaste, let's just pretend it is literally the best toothpaste on the market. Ooh, here's a big shell. Okay, let's pretend it's the best. You might be willing and able to pay $12 for your toothpaste, but are most consumers able to increase their budget, say, what, 400%? If most consumers are paying, it's got a snail in it, I think I'll just leave it. If most consumers are paying $3 for a tube of toothpaste, maybe $3 or $4, oh, there's another big shell, then this represents, a $12 tube of toothpaste represents, what, a 300 to 400% budgetary increase, right? How many people around there in the middle of the world we live in can sustain that for the rest of their life? I think it's a pretty small percentage. So you're limiting your market, and let's just say you throw in and you go market this $12 toothpaste along with whatever else they offer, which probably generally speaking is pretty expensive stuff. And before you say, oh, but it's worth it, it's the best, forget about that. Let's be real. How's this business model geared? Is it likely to generate recurring, hands-off, passive, long-term, stable monthly income? If your customers are leaving, maybe they're apologizing while they're leaving, like, oh man, I love this toothpaste. I'm sorry I got to cancel. I can't afford it. Maybe I'll come back later. If that's happening to a large enough degree, your income is toast. You're on a treadmill. It doesn't matter how cool the founder's story is. It doesn't matter how sound and solid the science is. If you can't retain the average customer, the average consumer on price alone, you're fighting a battle. You're fighting a war you cannot win. You win a battle here and there, but you will lose the war. You will. And if that business model is something you're looking at, then this is a really good awareness to have. Because let's go back to our main objective. What are you trying to accomplish here? If you're trying to build an asset, build something, put your time and energy into something that pays you monthly, where the default position is that consistent, stable, monthly cash flow, you must inspect the price of whatever's being put out into the market. Makes sense, right? You following with this? So back to the original question or statement from me. Can we find the best, or is that a subjective? Is that an opinion thing? It's not an opinion thing. This is math. It's demonstrable. It either adds up or it doesn't. If I were you, and you're with me, and you're like, yes, I need consistent, stable monthly cash flow, if that's why you're looking at side hustles, I would ask for proof. Whoever's pitching you, whoever you're engaged with, ask them for documentation, ask them for historical record of customers not canceling, consumers, regular people who are not being paid to stick around, just they're consuming. Residual income, passive income comes from consumers, not from reps, at least not primarily. From reps or consultants or distributors or whatever the title is. No, it comes from consumers. And if you don't see evidence of a huge majority of consumers not being paid, lined up out the door, buying stuff month after month after month, for years, for decades, if you don't see that, then just understand you're stepping onto a treadmill. And if you step off the treadmill, every time you take a break, so does your income. So, is this making sense? I hope that's making sense. I'm kind of wandering. I'm going to stop. If this is interesting to you, I'd be happy to have a conversation. I obsess about this stuff. And you know what? I have really high cash flow. And I get to do whatever I want. Because I think about these things. Logically. I don't make business decisions from a place of emotion. And I would recommend you don't do that either. All right. See you next time.